Picture this. You come home from work, the apartment is next door is silent, no lights, no music, no voices, but inside, a dog is barking, a cat is scratching at the door, food bowls are empty. The people who lived there didn't move, they were taken. This is a part of the immigration enforcement that no one talks about. ICE raids don't just detain people, they abandon lives, and let's talk about this. Hello, everyone. This is a serious topic here, but as I'm moving along and trying to work my channel with graphics and stuff, I'm trying to learn this as I go along. My whole point of this is being an activist, trying to get the word out on a lot of things that are happening. Yeah, there's a lot of people doing it to a degree, but I just want to give you from an honest look from a veteran's perspective and give a chance to maybe put a fresh set of eyes on some of these things that are happening. And going into this topic of pets, property, and stuff, it's been a wave of destruction by ICE that's not seen. And it really has been reported on the visual channels of YouTube and stuff you've seen. My first article here looking at is, the federal agents arrested a guy and he had a 3-year-old pit bull, Chuco. And of course, there is no space for an adult male pitty these days, so the dog's left to die in a shelter and soon be euthanized. And it's pretty sad looking at all these articles here. At least 15 dogs were surrendered at the LA animal shelters due to deportations between June 10th and July 4th of last year. And pets belonging to people who are deported or flee are being left in empty apartments, dumped in the laps of unprepared friends, dropped off at overcrowded shelters, the Times found. I mean, when ICE agents take somebody out of a car, the dog or anything else that's left in the car, the keys, any valuables, they just leave it all in the car. Of course, that started a trend of people, thinking they clean up after the ICE agents of all these valuables. So it's horrible what's happening to these people. Yes, they're migrants or immigrants, excuse me, that are not here legally, but there's a process. A lot of them are in the system to become legal citizens. But under this Trump administration, it doesn't matter. They're taking everything and anybody. And as you see, so many U.S. citizens are being swooped up in these raids. They just don't do anything except walk around like a mob, a gang, and go house to house knocking, are you a U.S. citizen or not? And a lot of U.S. citizens have been arrested and treated very, very badly. But that's not the topic of this point here. But look, you can see on this chart over here, the LA County shelters had a massive spike, especially in the fourth week in June there. But a lot of animal shelters around the United States are just not prepared for this large influx of animals. And it's heartbreaking to see this. Pets here are collateral damage to the current political climate. These pets, if they don't be found in an empty apartment or a house, they're left to die because they don't have any food or somebody caring after them. Dogs, large ones in particular, can be hard to find homes for, some rescues say. Data shows that 2 county shelters have seen large jumps in dogs being surrendered by their owners. The number of dogs were relinquished at the LA County's Palmdale shelter has doubled. And, the count at another shelter is over 50% in the same period of that year. So it's just horrible of all these cats and animals, because you got to look at The rates of dogs getting put down at LA shelters have increased 50% in April compared to the same month of the previous year. So it's just horrible. You know, it's causing a lot of people just to see the trail of heartbroken and emotions of what's found left behind, because these animals don't know any difference. And if you've ever been a pet lover, you understand what I'm talking about. Now, part of the reason for people adopting pets, of course, was during COVID, which I personally don't see that should have been a reason to ever adopt a pet. A pet's like a child. You've got to care for it and take care of it all the time. It's just not there and you throw food at it. I give you an example. In the Philippines, they put dogs, mainly for security. They put them out in the yard and they feed them whatever scraps are left over, or put them in a cage in the yard, which is even worse, and they're tortured by the heat and other stuff. It's just horrible what's happening here, but it's something that in the U.S. You wouldn't want to expect to see, but it's happening. People are leaving all these pets. Skyrocketing costs of living and veterinary care expenses have also prompted people to get rid of their pet family members. And that's just incredible. I mean, the vet price, well, you got to look at the cost of vet prices, and pet food has gone up by 60% over a decade ago. So that's the tough part. But you got to look at that kind of thing before you do accept a pet. And on the bar here is in dark blue is 2025, the LA County shelters, and you can see how drastic the numbers have gone up. And it's tough. You got to see all these pictures of abandoned pets that are happening around the county, LA, Minnesota, and all these other places. And then there's a couple of places that are trying to provide telemedicine for family pets. And they're trying to see if it's working, because where they have free pet care, for a lot of the Hispanic communities, ICE agents were just grabbing people out of their lines when they were showing up. And now a lot of these places don't have anybody. So they're trying to really do the telemedicine capability. Humans are leaving their houses for themselves. So if their dog has an earache, they may hesitate to go out to get the vet, and animals will suffer. They have seen 20 to 30% in missed appointments in the first week of June. So it's been very hard on them in the Mission Hills Camp Clinic. And then going down, it's just very heartbreaking to see these animals. Mercy, as you see these poor pets, I mean, just horrible to see them. Mercy Full Project told Fox 13 News that it's taking in a record number of abandoned pets whose guardians forced to leave the country. So it's really hurting them. These articles keep talking about it. Of course, Minneapolis Pet Rescue helped during ICE raids, a lifeline for animals. Some of them are trying to help.
Well, humans aren't the only ones that are now being affected by ICE raids in Minnesota. Some animals are being left behind. That's why a Minneapolis-based rescue group called the Bond Between is helping dog and cat owners prepare for potential issues during ICE enforcement actions. The organization is offering to house animals for up to 3 months at no cost. It can also help to find new homes for surrendered pets.
I'm urging people to come up with a kind of a preparedness plan so that in the event that they are worried about being detained or deported, there is a plan in place for their beloved pet. Animals don't know why somebody left, and so I think a lot of times they feel really confused and abandoned, and that's what we want to stop.
The overall goal is to keep pets safe until owner situations return to normal.
What was really bad about that, the pets of immigration being detained are left in the vehicles to die and at their homes, and no one cares. And if they don't have food and water, unless they bark loud enough that neighbors could hear them, they just will end up in a shelter. Now, there are also people being snatched up that are not allowed to call anybody. You know, when you get arrested by the police, you get that one phone call. With ICE, you get nothing. It is the Gestapo to full hilt, and besides that, you don't even get your rights read to you most of the time. Oh, if they find out if you're a citizen, they'll play that game. Then, this vehicle that was smashed in windows.
Oh, just.
It just shows you what they're doing to people. And of course, you know, these pets are terrified. I mean, just imagine that what the fear is going through them. As you see here, that they're very scared. Isardo Perez, a 75-year-old man, was snatched up by ICE with his chihuahua, so they took it to a shelter, tied it up outside, and it got away and was hit by a car. It's horrible. Then they didn't give Isardo any of his medication in detention. He died. That's horrifying.
Dumped a chihuahua at a shelter where it left it tied up out front, where it later escaped and got hit by a car after they detained Chulo's owner, Isidro Perez, who rescued him from his original owner, who was also detained and deported by ICE. Chulo survived, but Isidro Perez did not. He died at age 75 in ICE custody in Florida. Tom Homan doesn't care. He said a lot of people unalive in custody, and he said that on the same day that they opened Alligator Alcatraz, a 5,000-person detainment facility in South Florida with, as Trump said, only one way out: deportation. So what happens to people who are rounded up without their medications, without an ability to talk to their doctor, who are kept in hot, humid, cramped conditions with little to no medical care and no easy access to a hospital? So you guys keep trying to say they're going after the hardened criminals to keep our streets safer. You keep trying to say that they're not those kind of camps, and yet all of the evidence points to the contrary. ICE isn't going after the hardened criminals because, quite frankly, they're scared of the hardened criminals. That's why they look like they're going into Baghdad when they're going into your local community center.
I disagree with her. When I was in Baghdad, we didn't treat anybody like that. We didn't treat animals. We adopted a lot of them while we were there. And look at this. This ICE agent leaves a ace of spade card like he's a death dealer. And just really horrible what they're doing to people here.
Shayla's. I'm gonna bring them water. They're super cute.
Animals
Guys,
left behind in this
so
video.
Fucking sad to me. I just walked past and I saw two huge German Shepherds. I'm gonna add the clip that I took. But like, bruh, those could really be like somebody's dogs. And because of all these deportations, the dogs are staying like by themselves. That's so fucking sad. Anyway, I'm gonna go bring them water because I'm food, because I love strays. And they're just babies. I'm so sad for them. I hate like this whole situation. This shit got me fucked up because, bruh, they're tearing families apart and then the dogs are staying by themselves. Be fucking real. That's so fucked up.
Loved family pets ending up here at city and county animal shelters. Why? Because the families were deported.
Beautiful husky.
The first thing we noticed when Carson animal control officers brought out Bruce the Labrador Retriever mix and Coco the Pug Beagle is that they're a lot quieter than their kennel mates. This is all new and terrible for them, but they have no choice. And maybe in their own way, they're wondering what happened, says Sergeant Julie Villegas.
They're both very nice
lovable, adoptable pets, but we're here to offer them support and the care that they need.
Bruce and Coco's families have been ordered to leave the country immediately. Their dogs simply couldn't go with them. Sergeant Villegas says the children sometimes come here to the shelter for the painful goodbye, letting go of animals they raised from puppyhood or kittenhood, a bond only a pet lover could know. So now they're here with all the other animals at Carson Animal Care Center and other shelters throughout Southern California, left behind, staring at strangers from their steel cages, wondering what happened to the humans they loved. Immigrant deportation now a part of their life stories as they wait for new forever homes. So all you have to do is ask. All of these animals have bios on them that may include a deported family.
There's just so many animals I just left behind and destroyed. But it's a horrible situation that's wrecking lives across this nation. And I just want to have everybody be aware of this. There's something going on. You know, maybe if you're one of those people that just don't care, that's fine. I'm just wasting my breath on this. But there's some kids that have been deported. They're doing FaceTime with family members so they can see their pets they miss. So it's very destructive what it's doing here, and no one really cares. So there's a lot of these abandoned animals, thousands of abandoned cars. You know, most of them have probably been put into impound lots or stripped while they're out on the streets. But it's got to somehow some remedies be applied here. You know, what they talked about, have a plan. But I hope there's enough people that be out there and lend a hand with helping with these animals get to a better home and place. If you care about your family, take care of them, take care of yourself, take care of your community, and most of all, God bless the USA. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay kind, and as always, have a wonderful rowdy. Take good care of yourself and each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. I'll see you in the next video.